as we all know, football is a team game. The whole team has to click: the offense, the defense, and the special teams. Here are two teams that we're going to compare that had really great defenses in their respected years, but had some mediocre slash poor offenses that caused them to take them the next step. And ever since these years, these teams have not been really good. And as you from the title, we're comparing the 2020 Washington football team and the 2018 Chicago Bears. Let's get it. What's good, YouTube? It is your boy, man, Rick Logical, back again with another video. And as you can see from the video title and the intro, we're going to be comparing the 2018 Chicago Bears and 2020 Washington football team and their defenses, more specifically. Now, as we all know, the Chicago Bears are irrelevant ever since this double doink game versus my Eagles in 2018. And as we and as you know now, the football team, I mean, they're not irrelevant, but you know, they're not making as much noise. Really, just their defense. I mean, their offense is getting better, but their defense is just not, you know, top notch. But as y'all can see, man, here are the Chicago Bears 2018 starters. And here are your 2018 Chicago Bears defensive starters. At DN, they had Akeem Hicks, they had nose tackle Eddie Goldman, Khalil Mack, and Leonard Floyd at the D-line. A really solid D-line. Pointing out, they traded for Khalil Mack in that offseason right before the season started. Like, it was like a week or two before the season started. As we know, Khalil Mack, he was a Defensive Player of the Year winner, a multi all-pro, Pro Bowl. Like, Mack was that guy back then. And actually, with both teams, they actually got a really good defensive end. Now, the Chicago Bears, they got Khalil Mack, and the Washington football team, I'm not going to tell you who they got, which you should know by now. But continue on with the starters. At linebackers, you had Danny Trevathan. He was a veteran at the time. And you had Roquan Smith. Yes, Leonard Floyd and Khalil Mack are considered linebackers, but they're more like pass rusher linebackers, not like stand-up zone linebackers. That was Roquan and Danny, so that's why I didn't really mention them in the linebacker core. But at the secondary, I think that was their really strong suit, having Kyle Fuller, having Prince Amukamara, Adrian Amos, Eddie Jackson, and Bryce Callahan. Man, that secondary was really good, especially Eddie Jackson. That his 2017 up like 2019 run, I mean, bro was unstoppable. Probably like the best safety at the time, if not top three. Like, he was really good. Kyle Fuller, you know, he's always been a really good DB. In my eyes, but in the 2018 season, like he really stepped it up. And then Amos, again, just another top safety at the time. And although he left after this year to go to Green Bay, that was the start of the downfall. But we're not talking about that. We're just talking about the 2018 season. And then Bryce Callahan, he was the DB. He ran nickel. He was in the safety position and things like that. So bro was really beastie. And looking at the stats, I mean, I know it's not, you know, Baltimore Ravens or the Buccaneers status, but Matt got 12.5 sacks. Fuller had 7 interceptions. Eddie Jackson had 6 interceptions and 3 touchdowns. And Akeem Hicks had 7.5, man. This team had 4 Pro Bowlers and I think 3 All-Pros. So they was balling, man. But pretty much getting Khalil Mack was really like a bonus for his defense. Now, they were pretty good in 2017 and 2016, but getting pieces like Eddie Jackson, having Amos develop, and Kyle Fuller, and I think this was Roquan Smith rookie year. Just again, getting Khalil Mack on that team, it just put them over the top, man. And they was like super hard to score on, and we're gonna talk about their best games and even the Eagles game, but they were just a fantastic unit. I remember them and the 2018 Ravens, as y'all know, I made a video on them. I think the Bears were actually just better overall. I mean, the secondary was better, the D-line was better. You can argue that CJ Mosley just himself was just better at the linebacker position than both Roquan and Danny put together. But at the D-line and the secondary, they had the best. Like it was unreal. But we gotta talk about the football team now, right? So as stated, we gotta talk about the football team, man. As y'all know, I made a video on the Commanders a couple days ago, a couple videos ago, talking about Jack Del Rio and his philosophy and things like that. Now, before Jack got there, again, they had a strong D line, having Montez Sweat, Deron Payne, and Jonathan Allen. And with their first pick, I think they have the second pick in the whole draft, but they got Chase Young. And getting Chase Young, he's already a highly touted prospect, either number 1 or number 2 between him and Joe Burrow. And obviously he went to the football team, or the Redskins or whatever, and he made that D line so much better. Like, they was stupid, they was crazy, man. But nah, on a for real tip, this unit, they did not stay healthy together. But let me name off everybody. Sorry, Chase Young, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, and Sweat at the 4 base D linemen. Now, I know this is just the starters, not rotation players, things like that, just the starters. This is the 4-3 set defense, okay? At linebacker, which was obviously their weak spot. They had Cole, Jonathan Bostic, Kevin Pierre-Louis. I mean, it was very bottom of the barrel. Outside of Cole, Jonathan and Kevin were just, I mean, Jonathan Bostic, I remember him being on the Colts, but I don't know who Kevin Pierre-Louis is. I could be a casual, who knows? But their secondary is really good. More specifically, Kendall Fuller. He has developed really, really well. Now he's like, to me, top 15 corner. But back then, I mean, he was a decent corner for the Chiefs, and then he got traded to the football team. He got a little better. But they got Kendall Fuller, a former Eagle, Ronald Darby. You know what I'm saying? Cameron Curl and Troy Apke. If you know Troy Apke and you play Madden, bro's a demon. I mean, a white boy, I ain't trying to be racist, I'm sorry. A white boy with bunnies, and he was like stupid fast. Hey, in salary cap in Madden 20, hey, he was a demon. Alright, but we're getting a little bit sidetracked, okay? So as a unit, they were solid, but the linebacker core was obviously the weakest spot on the defense. Now, talking about stats, Chase Young, he had 7.5 sacks, 10 tackles for loss, and he won defensive rookie player of the year. And then, as you can see, Kendall Fuller, he had 4 interceptions and 11 pass deflections, which is really solid. And then Holcomb, he had 72 total tackles and 6 tackles for loss. And then Montez Sweat, 9 sacks and 12 tackles for loss. So Holcomb, or I think that's how you say his name, he was solid, but nothing really stood out. So we gotta talk about their seasons now. I just realized this. I put 2020 for Chicago Bears. Obviously, it's 2018. So as I can see, both teams have a lot of things in the top 5. Okay, everything that's top 5 is in the green. Okay, I always do that for all my videos, and anything that's bottom 10, it goes in the red. Cause like bottom 10 is just unacceptable. But top 5 is just whoa. Okay, but nah. Total yards, both of them was in the top 3. The football team being about second, the Bears being in third. I mean, I like that. The football team, they weren't really the best at anything, like number 1, whereas the Bears, like, their run defense was just number one points per game, number 1 interceptions, number 1. And the football team, I get it, they're number 2, which is almost number 1, but some games, they gave up way too many 30-point games. As I was doing research for this video, and I can see why they didn't have like so many number 1s. And as you can see, the rushing yards for the football team was middle of the pack. And the Bears, even though QB pressure was at number 10, like, they didn't leave the top 10 in no major category. Okay, and the football team being number 13. So right now, I'm leaning towards the Bears having the better defense. On paper, the unit's better, and like ranking wise, they're better. Run defense, they're better. Possibly the football team is better at pass defense, like passing touchdowns and passing yards, but run defense, the Bears, they got that. And as you can see right here on the double doink game, they show that, and they show really good run defense, and they shut down our run defense. And we were a little bit injured bugged, and we didn't have a really good running back at the time, but still, like, you know, they did not get to Nick Foles all game. I mean, they pressured at 17%, and their season average was 26.7%, and they only got to him one time. Like, only one sack, and although they had 2 interceptions, Nick Foles, he had 2 bad reads. He still had 266 yards and 2 touchdowns, and let alone a game-winning touchdown. And the injury bug did, it came at them at the wrong time. Eddie Jackson did not play. I don't think he played the Week 17 game either at the time because they won the division already. I forgot when he got hurt, but he got hurt. But the Bears, like, their defense, like, they play like grown men. Like, they didn't give up too many. And they only gave like 16 points. The score was only 16-14. And the football team, on the other hand, like, their defense was just no show. And as y'all can see, like, their defense was terrible. Brady got whatever he wanted that game. I mean, 381 yards and 2 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette, and I get it, playoff Lenny is a different breed. You know what I'm saying? And those 2018 playoffs, man, he was going crazy, man. But still, like, 132 yards, and you're supposed to be a top 10 defense. And I don't think they even got to. Well, they got to Brady twice. No, like 3 or 4 times, with Deron Payne having 2 and then Sweat having 1. But, like, still, like, their secondary just, like, couple of busted coverages and long plays. I think they had like a 60-yard bomb to Antonio Brown or something like that. Like, it was like in a cover 3, but he didn't play his correct deep zone. It was just crazy, man. And that unit again, they lack linebacker play. Like, if you have really good linebackers, they're going to shut down the run if the running back gets to that linebacker level. And nobody showed up that game. And once Leonard Fournette got to the secondary, oh yeah, say your goodbyes. Like, say goodnight. But during the season, they was so good, man. And that 2020 season, man, here their 3 best games. Week 1 were versus my Eagles. Like, we did terrible in that second half. The first half, we had them, but the second half, no. Okay, they forced 2 interceptions and they had 8 sacks. Again, it was a 2020 year, with the whole world on shutdown, and linemen can't, linemen can't really build chemistry with the quarterbacks or things like that. But our linemen been together for so long, like, you would have thought that we would have had things down packed, but we didn't, man. And we forced they forced 0 second half points, and Moreland had a pick and 6 total tackles. Chase Young, first game, he had a sack and a half and 4 total tackles and a forced fumble. Week 14 versus the Niners, they forced 1 interception, 4 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles, and they had a defensive touchdown. Cameron Curl, he had a pick 6, 7 total tackles, which is really good. And Chase Young going crazy with 1 sack, 2 pass deflections. Boy got his hands up like crazy, and then 1 tackle for loss. And then week 7 versus the Cowgirls, only allowed 3 points, having 6 sacks. Montez Sweat, he had a really good game, 2 sacks, 3 hits. You know what I'm saying? As you can see, their front line is just beast. Like, they are just going crazy. And when their D line is forcing pressure, the secondary is forcing turnovers. Now for the Bears, it's like they actually got both. Like, it's crazy. The Bears, their top 3 games, like, they forced 3 interceptions week 9 versus the Bills and 4 sacks, and they had 1 fumble. They scored 2 touchdowns. I should have put touchdowns because I don't think the football team has. They didn't have as many touchdowns as the Bears did, because that team was scoring like they was on offense at the time. But Amos, he had an interception and a sack and 7 total tackles. Roquan Smith, the rookie, he had 12 total tackles, which is pretty good. And then Danny Trevathan, he had 12 total tackles and 2 for losses, man. Again, their linebacking core just kills the football team. And they had two true, like, stand-up linebackers or zone linebackers, and the football team had 3. Okay, but versus Tampa week 4, 3 more interceptions, 4 sacks, and they shut down the run game. They had like 40-some yards, man. Like, this Bears team, honestly, honestly, the Bears just automatically beat them, right? Khalil Mack, a sack, tackle for loss and a forced fumble. Eddie Jackson, 1 interception. And Aaron Lynch, one of the better rotation players, he had an interception, a sack, and a tackle for loss. So again, I didn't mention rotation players, which I will start doing in my future comparisons. But Aaron Lynch, he was a key player on that defense. Okay, and Week 14 versus the Rams, 4 more interceptions and 3 more sacks and zero TDs allowed, man. And if y'all remember, the Rams scored like 50 points on the Chiefs. The Rams, even though they got dominated by the Patriots in the Super Bowl, but they went to the Super Bowl and had the Bears play them in the divisional or the conference championship, they probably would have went to the Super Bowl, man. And their offense, like, played so bad in the wrong moments, man. And I get it, you know, you can blame the kicker and things like that, but our defense was so mediocre in that double doink game. Like for both teams actually. But speaking on the Bears first, like, Mitchell Trubisky was so inconsistent that year, and just the whole offense was so inconsistent. Matt Nagy did not, like, he's one of the worst offensive coaches, and the crazy part was, I think he was under Andy Reid for some years, so he should have some offensive schemes and things like that. But it's just like, when they got cold, dog. It's the same thing with the football team. Now in 2020, the football team, they were like going through so many different quarterbacks. Taylor Heineke, Dwayne Haskins, and I think Alex Smith was still there, and it was 2 more guys still there. And obviously, Taylor Heineke was in the playoff game, and he did really good actually, but it just wasn't enough because, number one, the defense crumbled, and number two is just, you know, lack of experience from him. I mean, there's so much you can really expect from him. Dwayne Haskins, like, he was like borderline like unplayable. Rest his soul. This is not like a trash video on him. This is just me going back to 2020. And then even like they're just like Dwayne Haskins. I don't know, because I mean, their O-line was pretty bad. I mean, I'll give him that. There's videos of him like asking him, like, you know, can y'all protect me, please? Like, what do you want me to do? You know what I'm saying? But it's just these two defenses I love so much, and I watched so many old games on these two defenses. I wish they both had some decent, you know, some decent offenses to where they can take the next level, because the defense is like, not in the playoffs for the football team. They did their part on defense in the playoffs or in good moments. And don't get me wrong, they're not perfect, but the offenses for these teams, they did so poorly. And I just want to highlight that these defenses are, again, my favorite defenses of all time, or at least some of them. Not, you know, clear cut. I don't really have like a favorite defense. We'll talk about that in a different video. But if you like this video, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, man. I love y'all, man. And we out, man. Peace.